Recently the princess of Zone 8, Princess Gwyna, was taken by the evil Silver Witch Rioterm. I was helpless against her magic, and she not only took the princess, but she also turned me into a woman and enchanted me so that everyone sees Princess Gwyna instead of me when they look at me. I had wanted to equip myself with new armor and weapons and follow the only lead we had on the princess location. However, the Princess of Bayaran, Princess Miria, who is one of the only people who knows I'm not really Princess Gwyna, convinced me it was a bad idea. I wasn't really happy about it, but to her credit she made several good points and she was just purely right. As I am now, going would be a terrible idea. This body I find myself in, this female body. I'm not used to it at all, at least when it comes to fighting. Then there was the fact that I didn't really know where the princess is at the moment. Sure, we have a lead, but that could lead anywhere, even to what could be a trap set up by the Silver Witch. I'd be no help to the princess getting stuck in a trap like that. No, the best thing I can do for her and the kingdom is as Princess Miria suggested. To everyone I am the princess, so if I just took off like I was planning, then everyone would know the princess was gone and in danger, which would cause chaos. As much as I hate the idea of playing princess, acting like a delicate damsel, drinking tea and wearing dresses, I swore an oath to protect the princess and the kingdom, and right now it seems this is the best way to do it. Chances are that the Silver Witch will be keeping some sort of eye on me, probably because she wants to see if I try to go after her, but if I play the princess, she'll assume no one is coming after her, which means she'll slip up eventually. Until then, I have to act as the princess. Which means sitting idly inside the carriage as we headed back to Zone 8. It was a little nerve-wracking, to be honest. I was just a simple knight not long ago, and now everyone thinks I'm the princess, which means I'll be treated like her. I'm a little nervous I'll mess it all up, but I'm hoping that years of being by Gwyna's side have taught me enough about her in order to mimic how she speaks, how she moves and all that. Of course, that didn't do much when I was with Princess Miria. Hopefully no one else figures out I'm pretending to be the princess, or there could be a lot of trouble. Once we made it back to the kingdom, I was rushed inside the castle and brought to a secure room where I was left to wait. 30 minutes later the door flew open and King Gowther stood there with a look of worry on his face. I stood up and was about to bow to him like I was accustomed to, which I realized would be weird since I'm supposed to be the princess now. Luckily, before making that mistake, the king ran up to me and grabbed me. He pulled me in close and hugged me with all his might. It was so tight I almost couldn't breathe. Growing up a male and the eldest son of the captains of the knights, this was the first time I've ever been held like this. It was strange, but not awful. He was warm and worried for his daughter, which made me feel a bit guilty. He thought she was safe, but the truth is she isn't. He should know what's going on, but Princess Miria said the Silver Witch might have spies around him. So it was best to keep him in the dark, which makes a lot of sense when you know the king like I do. Once he knows his daughter is gone, he'll get every knight in the kingdom and march around the country tearing it apart until he finds her. The fewer people who know, the better, at least for now. The scouts will find the princess, and once they do, Princess Miria will tell me and we'll work together to get Gwyna back home safe and sound. Until then, it's the princess life for me, which is super embarrassing just saying out loud. Once the king, or I guess I should say father, once father left, I was told to rest up for the day, and that anything I needed would be brought to me. I thanked the servants and then I sat on the princess bed. I was bored out of my mind. I wasn't used to doing nothing like this, and it was driving me crazy. I wanted to be doing something, anything, but as the princess, they wouldn't let me leave and play with a sword. In fact, they'd look at me like I was crazy if I even asked. Eventually the day passed by, despite it doing so slowly, and with my guards annoying me by checking in with me every 10 minutes. I suppose that's not their fault, my father probably ordered them to do so since he's worried. Once the day was over, I was put into a nightgown and tucked into Gwyna's bed. The bed was uncomfortable at first, but that was because it was so soft and large I wasn't used to it, but after an hour I was sound asleep on it, and I had the best sleep of my life. The next day I was well rested and ready for anything, and for the first time in my life, I needed someone to wake me up, as I was that deep into sleep. Kasia, the handmaiden and friend of Princess Gwina, was the one to wake me up. As she helped me get ready for the day, she started asking me about what happened, and I gave her a slightly altered version of what happened. She told me she was sorry that happened and that it sounded super scary. She then asked me if I wanted to have my daily duties as princess postponed. I thought about it. It would be nice not to do those things, but suspicious. Gwina was tough and she'd get back to her studies and duties right away, so I refused. One bath later, I was sitting in the chair letting her apply makeup to my face and style my hair. I'd watched the princess get pampered like this dozens of times and never thought much about it. In fact, I usually turned away and looked at things out the window. I never really imagined having this done to you would feel so nice. After my hair and makeup, Kasia grabbed my hands and looked at my nails. She then looked shocked and said they were a mess, almost as bad as a man's. Broken, dirty, and uncared for. She then assumed it happened in the incident and got to work fixing it. She used several tools, which I have no idea what they were, since I've never once had my nails cleaned and trimmed like this. Once she finished, it was on to the last step. It was once again time for me to wear another dress. I wished I could wear something else, or at least some pants underneath, but Gwina was only allowed to wear dresses, though she really does love them. I mean, I don't exactly hate them. Some of them aren't bad. There are definitely a couple pretty ones, and some of them are really soft, and they really do make Gwina happy. She always lights up when she gets a new one. She even puts it on right away. That's her, though, not me. I'm a simple knight. I'm used to heavy armor and tough padding underneath. More importantly, I'm a man, and the last thing I want is to be parading in female clothing. After being put into the dress, I was guided by Kasia and a small squad of knights tasked with my well-being to the dining hall. There I sat with King Gowther and his son, Prince Ambrose. I mean my father and my older brother. Ambrose was mid-conversation with father when I walked in but stopped and looked at me. He smiled and walked over to me. He hugged me like father had, then thanked the goddess that I was safe and that the evil witch didn't get me. Once he was done hugging me, he pulled me over to the table and helped me sit down. Once he was seated, he asked that I retell the events that occurred yesterday, as he was taking up the quest to find the Silver Witch and bring her to justice. He also mentioned wanting to save me, not the princess, but Sir Rarus, who he believed was the one taken by the Silver Witch. Apparently because the report from the attack mentioned I was missing, it made sense to him that I was the witch's target. While not exactly correct, it was good to know they'd be looking for the witch, but I wonder how that messes with the plan Princess Miria and I came up with to act as the princess to trick the witch. I'll have to send her a letter and ask. Until then, I'll go about our plan as normal. After telling my version of events, we all ate, and everything I put in my mouth was amazing. It was honestly so hard to control myself and eat properly, but I managed to preserve the princess's delicate eating style and not freak everyone out with the messy way I normally eat. Once breakfast was done, Kasia pulled out a book and started telling me about what was on the schedule for today. I had an etiquette lesson, which she said I clearly needed. After that I had horseback riding. After that I was to attend the opening of the newest clinic in town, and then lastly there were 2 different nobles from other kingdoms arriving to sit down and have tea with me. It all sounded like a pain in the butt. Well, except for horseback riding, that would be easy. I've been riding horses since my father tossed me on one as a kid. The etiquette lesson also wouldn't be so bad, as I took a few classes as part of my training as the person knight of the princess. I just never really cared for it. The tea parties, though, might be something of a problem. I've stood by while Gwina has done those, but I've never done one myself. I don't know how good I'll be at it. Most of the time it's just random gossip or talking about boys, which I have no interest in. We were starting with horseback riding, which meant the easiest and most fun thing of the day came first. Everything after that was going to be harder and less enjoyable. After changing into a riding outfit, I was led out to the stables, where my instructor was waiting for me. My instructor came over with a horse for me to ride and was about to help me get on top of her, but without thinking I jumped on the horse with ease and on my own. When I looked down at my instructor, he seemed surprised. I instantly realized why. The princess couldn't get up on a horse by herself, she always needed help. I pretended to be amazed and celebrated doing it on my own for the first time. The instructor congratulated me but asked that I take help so as not to hurt myself. I nodded and tell him I will, and while I was a bit annoyed because I have no problem getting up here on my own, I know he thinks I'm the princess, and like me, it was his job to make sure she was safe, which is what I'd be doing if she were here.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also check out my Patreon and DeviantArt pages. There you can find all my public stories. You can also support my work by getting early access to all stories, exclusive content, and even commission me to make you a custom story. Anyways, thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day.